Well, hello, everyone. It is another opportunity of our free Q&A. We are recording today, and we are, with permission, able to share this particular recording not only in our Facebook group for our Q&A community of Love What You Do, but we are also going to be sharing this on YouTube and on our other social platforms because our theme this month is alignment. And this particular exercise that I'm going to walk you through before we open it up for questions and answer is all about aligning our true belief. And this is a mindset awareness that was taught to me so many years ago. And I want to say it was 2009, 2010, and I got to go to the Center 21 convention. For those of you that know that I have 20 plus years in real estate, I started at Center 21 as a brand new licensed real estate agent, sold 32 homes my first full year in real estate, and didn't have a clue of what I was doing. Ironically, I went on to teach and train and sell real estate for over, I still sell as a referral agent, and I've been doing this for over 20 years. And I've trained top producing real estate agents. I was a top producer real estate agent when I did this full time. And I got actually given a position for the director of sales coaching and mentoring when I was at the Century 21 conference, and I met a gentleman named John Cheplak. And John Cheplak was teaching a group of trainers and brokers and leaders in the real estate industry about this particular visual that I'm sharing with you on the screen. And he explained that so often there's a point A to a point B, and there is a fear wall that happens in the middle. And the challenge with the fear wall is that we think that we're aiming for the B, and what we say really matters to us. Again, are we aligning everything on our schedule and our thoughts and in our actions with what we say matters? And we choose an action from point A to point B, and usually life happens, distractions happen, and what we like to say is fear happens, and we allow ourselves to repeat and sabotage, wondering what will make it stop. What I also like to say is there's a beautiful circle of insanity or crap or distractions or fertilizer. We do a lot of fun exercises around this particular equation to help people self-discover. And what we help them also discover is that they spend so much time in the circle and they wonder what's causing it. And more often than not, as John shared in his presentation, there's a scarcity that happens in the insanity. There's a scarcity mindset. I'm afraid of what I don't have. I'm afraid of blah, 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 etc. that causes the crap. And people do not know how to make it into a fertilizer and come from a place of love and abundance. And what I 100%, and I used just today in a presentation or exercise with somebody this morning, is our lack of trust and belief in very key people and process and decisions is the lacking piece. That's a lot to say in less than a couple of minutes. And what I'd like to share with you is just an example of the A to B. A lot of people like to say that they have a certain aspect in their business. They'd like to achieve a profitable perspective, a profitable mindset, a profitable result, whatever it may be in their business. And what happens is they keep hitting walls and what they're looking for in a lead source, or what they're looking for in a missing system, or what they're lacking in blah, blah, blah. And that falls into that insanity and the madness. And what they don't realize that they have, and we all have a multitude of experiences. We all have a multitude of paths we've taken that are part of our fertilizer and what moves us into us showing up in complete trust and complete faith. And what I like to call, or I've been trained to call and use it regularly, is I like to say we don't reinvent the wheel, we reinvent the approach, and we help people own the process to walk the path. And one of those opportunities is to understand that who we are is valuable. It is an infinite worth. Who we show up to be and how we show up to serve, and who we serve is also a part of the love and abundance. And when we operate in that love and abundance, we break through the fear wall because we're truly committed to what we say is on the other side. The other final piece that I want to add to this before I open it up to questions is what I have discovered over the years of coaching and training now, and that's probably over 20 plus years, is the awareness that what we think the B is from our point A to point B is not always what we think it is. And what I have found over and over again is we say that we want one thing, and yet, and I got asked this years and years ago when I went to work for a Keller Williams in Southern California. One of the ladies that interviewed me literally said, well, why that? Why that? Why that? Why that? I want to say it felt like 50 times that she asked me, why is that? And thankfully, I was strong and secure enough to keep answering and discovering. For me, my B, every morning when I wake up with who can I create a light bulb moment for today? Now, when I go to that B, what's so important to me? Why is creating light bulb moments important to me? What I have discovered over the years, it will be all the language on our website from amazing Lindsay Hotmeyer, who's a gift that has built all our new copyright for our website. She shared, what I have discovered is being able to see others helps me see me. And I know how valuable it is to be seen, valuable, and heard. And so many people do not realize the value of that. And then and what I've got to learn over the years for myself personally is learning to have a love and abundance for myself, learning to trust myself, learning to trust God, learning how to trust others through God is the journey that I've been on from point A to point B. That trust is the biggest stepping stage that I have had to step on my own stages that I've ever had in all of the years I've been coaching, training, teaching, etc. Is learning that trust and belief and faith in myself and others, and the process of trusting the skills that I've brought to the table, trusting the people I surround myself, and the awareness of that I get to choose to and want to operate in love and abundance on a consistent basis. That way I could take all the crap that's down at the bottom of my insanity circle. By the way, we've all had that insanity circle. I get to take that and make it fertilizers when it comes back up, which it will, because we constantly get pulled and want to be dragged into the crab bucket. A few of my previous trainees loved the crab bucket. They actually had somebody give me a crab. So, I mean, a stuffed animal crab, but anyways, to say, yeah, keep us out of that crab bucket, right? We don't want to fall into that insanity, etc. Yeah, if we do, we have the opportunity to reframe it and discover, how do I make it fertilizer? Whew, so much said there, right? Okay, I'm going to stop share. Is there questions, thoughts? What would you like to share, Miss Jamie Jordan Lane out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and the Lifestyle Locator?
Well, I just want to say that you have presented this in one of our coaching sessions. And for me, it really was a light bulb moment, because I have that fear wall, which I know everybody does, but kind of pushing through that with our experiences and just simply changing some of our verbiage. Before I was saying I used excuses, and I went in that circle of insanity or crap. Mm-hmm. And now I'm changing just a simple word, and it's pushing me through that wall. And so I'm choosing to believe in myself. I'm choosing to have the confidence that I know what I'm doing and those experiences. So seeing it in that format is very eye-opening, because it really does show you there's always a point A and a point B. And I really like what you wrote, we reinvent the approach. Mm-hmm. So I took a note of that, because it's, if something's broken, we can fix it and just change the approach. We don't have to change the whole system. And so I took that as a note here, and I really enjoyed this presentation of yours today, because it really has helped me break through that fear that I have, and everybody experiences fear, and not having the excuses, but being able to push through it. So to get to that point B.
And Jamie, you said something so powerful. I'd love to reiterate and then open it up for a question. If you have a question attached, or if you want me to ask a question, either way, I'm totally open with that. I love being concise, but I also love making sure we drive down the point so that people see the layers on the point, because we're just touching the surface, right? When we really talk about visual, I've spent years learning how to teach it, how to coach it, how to help people self-discover. I mean, as you know, when we teach it in a group exercise, we walk through each layer of it, not just blank, here's it on the screen, right?
Right, right.
And yet, as you're listening to it, and as you're watching it, and you think about your A to B, one of the things we were talking about is that concept of, yes, I love a profitable business, or even more profitable business than I've already experienced. What really matters to you about that? And you remember that conversation and how we want to talk about that?
Yeah. So for me to know it's a profitable business in a measurement type of way, for me, it's an accomplishment. I'm very much a checklist type of person. And so I like to have that, I feel accomplished kind of checking off those lists. And so B being the end result, getting to that point and kind of checking my boxes to get to that point.
It's interesting too, because Jamie, you shared, how many homes have you sold in your career now?
I've closed over just shy of 700 transactions.
Just shy, right?
Just shy.
And some teams do that in a short time, and some teams don't do that their whole career, right? You
Right.
lead a team, and you lead the opportunity. You know what the real estate experience is about. And you have so much success you bring to the table. And yet I loved what we talked about, that aspect of blind faith, right? Is my checklist says, and this is a young lady, she's an author that went through our Master's League competition. She said one of the biggest things she got from that program was, you taught me that I just get to do the steps. The result will take care of itself. Yet, right. This is where that A to B comes in. If I'm truly committed to the outcome, I will continue to take the steps without the excuses, without the justifications, with the reframe that I choose to take those steps, because I value the result. And so when we dig into that result of accomplishment, we know there's a layer below that accomplishment. What's the value of the accomplishment? I totally put you on the spot. You didn't see that one coming.
No, that's okay. I didn't see that one coming, and I'm just trying to process it. But one thing I will say too is, for me, I tend to shut down when I get overwhelmed. And so this is something where it makes a lot of sense to have those steps to it, as opposed to not just going from A to B without anything in between. So using those experiences, breaking it down into a smaller, manageable, not so overwhelming feeling. So I kind of look at, for instance, when I start with a client, the point B is to close on that transaction. Well, we all know as realtors, there's a lot of steps in the process of a transaction. So, and just pushing through the fear and finding solutions and getting to that point B, the end result, feels like an accomplishment. So the end result being financially good in that sense as well.
Well, and there's so many more pieces to that. And Jamie, knowing you personally, and thank you for the permission to walk our way through the layers and the gift that you're providing to others that get to listen. So I know it's a big old hot seat for the minute you didn't even know you were getting on today.
I didn't, but that's okay. I trust you.
You are and that actually what brings up that trust equation that we talked about last week. So anyone listening is going to want to go to the trust equation. And this actually works perfectly for you. Is you do not show up just because you're there to close a transaction. A buyer is looking to get keys to their home. A seller is looking to move on to their next journey, and you get to provide them the pathway and or refer them to an agent out of another state. We talked about that with Stephen in one of our previous episodes. We have an opportunity to serve, and you show up, right, not because you value so deeply that experience and making sure a person's cared for, and you just don't even think to talk about that. You just know, I just want to make sure it's done well so that they get a great experience. And that's just, I'm positive that's just how you show up, right? And so when you go back to that accomplishment, I would say, of what I know about you so far, is it's deeper than that accomplishment of the outcome. It's the accomplishment of the experience that person had through the process, and the value of the checklist along the way is to make sure I got it done well.
Right. You always put it into such better words for me. And I love that about you. So because it is something, it's a deeper layer. And, there's a reason why my clients become family is because we do have that connection. We do have that end result being the same goal and that help. And, I give it all to my clients. And so.
One of the things, and so if you'll allow me, and you digest it, I don't want to give you words, yet I want to see what comes up for you as I say something, is I tell people all the time, sales is just fulfilling needs, is clarifying. And although I reach out to a person who's my advocate, they may not have a need at that moment, doesn't mean that they won't have a need in the future, and doesn't mean that they don't have credibility, reliability, and intimacy with me, because they do trust that I'm focused on them. I'm coming from a place of, how do I serve you? Do I appreciate the gift of getting paid for my services? Absolutely. And more importantly, I trust that I'm showing up to serve them at a level that I've committed to delivering, to make sure their needs are met, because I'm not going to go into a opportunity without making sure there's a need to be met. I'm not going to do it just to get paid. That's not who we operate as, right? There is a gift in getting paid. I don't ever want to take that away from anybody in the result of the outcome of, and in a business facet, the opportunity, going back to that fulfill a need. If you go back into that layer of that accomplishment, the A to B, right? And this is the other part of this equation that I love to do. And I use it in another exercise. And we may obviously be doing that in alignment in the future. So we may save that one, but let's just dig it deeper for just 1 minute. You really dig in and you love fulfilling needs. What's the most important thing about making sure your clients, the people around you, they just are taken care of?
Well, I would say, because I care so much about my clients, and just knowing that they're happy and they're excited. I mean, this is a journey for them as well. And, I've dealt with first-time buyers, I've dealt with retirees, and it's everyone buying or selling is in a different stage in their journey. And I feel blessed to be part of that stage for them. So I think just the heart of it. And, people say you don't work a day in your life if you love what you do. And I love what I do. And so, not to say that every day is an easy day, because it's not, but that caring and just passion to put in and give to my clients is something I get out of it.
And it brings back that whole wheel of why we do the love what you do, love what you do again, because when you focus on the love what you do again, you're purposeful about how you lead yourself, and you're purposeful how you lead others. You make sure you're operating from a mindset and a commitment to truly align with thoughts that are serving you, and remove defeating thoughts, right? You get to walk the talk, because your actions, your words, and your thoughts are all aligned with what you say matters, so that you love what you do again on a daily basis, or moment by moment basis, right?
Right. Well, and I think that's where the tools that you've given me in our coaching so far, it's really, I'm finding that I love what I do and I am in the right career, because as you know, and I've talked about it, I kind of felt like, am I in the right place? Is this what I'm meant to do? And I used to feel I had no doubts that that's what I wanted to be doing with my life. And those fears and insecurities, and they creep up on you. And it's kind of where we've built that trust together, where, just even, I told you simple words where I choose to, instead of I'm new, or, this is something I choose to do. This is where I choose to be. This is what I love to do, is so much different and more fulfilling than just getting the paycheck, I guess.
And then some, right? And
then some, yeah.
And the gift of and you can feel it and see it and hear it in you, even from a couple, conversations before, when we own the choose to, right? Is you've got a wealth of experience. You know how to, as you know, when and I love what I do and I know what I'm doing, I know how to humbly and confidently lead you. You're going to naturally attract those advocates, which we are, and you already have a wealth of advocates, right? So the opportunity, and this is, John is a powerhouse. He's a trainer in the real estate industry, has been a trainer for years. Like I said, I met him many years ago. Just a powerful guy, and I cannot wait for him to hear this video and just share and remind people that it starts from that base of really owning that I get to be of service. I get to love what I do. I get to serve at a high level and stay focused on that high level, own my priorities, align with those so that it makes the impact it wants to make. Is there any other questions we can help you with today?
Well, I think I've been put on the hot seat enough today because no, I just, I love what I do. And I think you brought it to my attention today is that you see the joy again in me. And it really is from this coaching and listening to this and listening to others and their experiences as well, because we all share a lot of similar experiences, but they're all unique as well. So I really appreciate these Q&As because it does give valuable information.
And we are preparing for a whole new season, young lady. And we
All
look
right.
forward to inviting others to join us in our next upcoming Q&A. And we actually have a special guest next week. On August 9th, we are going to have Sandra Martini. And the Martini Way, we share she actually has some of the same similar language, and she is going to be a powerhouse. We already have a few people signed up for our next one. So she brings a wonderful perspective, and I'll put some details about that on our Facebook pages, etc. But we thank you, as always, for those that are joining us in person and those that are joining us on recording and those that will join us again next week. Thank you, everyone. And